fact, this sledge is in the room right now and you can't see him. Hello. Hello and welcome to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Different Breed, and if you do, then welcome back. I want to get better at this game, and my goal is to help you get better as I'm getting better. Today, we'll be going over camera spots on the map Theme Park Protecting Initiation Room. If you have a spot you want to showcase, put it in the Discord and it might make it into a future video. So for our first cam, it's gonna be a pretty obvious camera. If we come over here and it's gonna be easy as well. I just tell you that, over here. We're gonna toss it over here, and actually we're gonna get a little bit higher than that. We want it to be kind of behind this wire rack over here. If that's the technical term for it, I forget. So we want it to be like this, where most of it is above this cage over here, and you can still see a little bit underneath. Now you can see that sledge crouching over there. Ooh. And he can also see that camera. Like I said, it's gonna be an obvious camera. Now, this camera is not meant for the people coming in from west to east. This camera is meant for people coming in from Dragon. So if I look for the camera itself, then it's gonna be pretty obvious I'm gonna see it. However, usually people at this place in their brain, they're worried about somebody running through here. So they wanna check this out first. So they're looking this way, and maybe, just maybe, they don't notice it, right? Because sometimes the obvious cameras are the ones that get overlooked the most, which is pretty interesting. So if they swing in here, then you can see exactly where they are. You can see if they're gonna be behind this control box or whatever it is over here. And then you can see if the thermite's coming over here to place the thing on the wall, you can see him be doing that. You can basically see this entire room, especially if you just turn the camera all around. You can see this entire room here. Obviously, all the way on the west side is going to be a little bit harder to see. However, you can still see it. You can also use it as an audio cue as well. And like I said, if people are moving from the west to the east, then they're going to be more into this room, more like ready and like, what is it? Less scared, I guess. I can't think of the good words right now, but they'll be able to easily shoot it out and see it if somebody's on the camera from across the room. It might get overlooked over here though because of how little you see it, but like I said, you can see it, so yeah. But if you do want it back, then you can go ahead and grab it back. Our second camera is gonna be in this room as well. Close, very close to this spot here is actually gonna be on the floor right back here. So go ahead and lay down, and we're gonna toss this on the floor, not on the chair itself. I said not on the chair itself. Listen to me, game. You wanna toss it right over here. Now, I got it on the wall, but you can also get it on the floor. This is obviously not gonna see the entire room. In fact, this sledge is in the room right now and you can't see him. Hello. Just a little bit, you can see him a little bit. Now, this camera is actually better on the floor. So if we look at this camera, it's really obvious. Hello, we can see this camera 100%. There's no problems with that. If I move it down onto the floor, get it further in the back, making me look bad, game. Boom. So if we get it onto the floor here and we move around with the sledge, we can see the sledge right now. We can see his little feet right there, about half of his body, most of his legs, and we can't see this cam at all. We can't see this cam until we get to about here. Now, if we are looking for this camera. At this point though, as an attacker, you might be a little bit more worried about what's going to be coming over at this top dragon here. So this is going to be a pretty viable cam. Even if we come out here as the attacker and we open up the hatch. Now, so if we go onto this hatch and we open up this hatch, we can see that this hatch is open, and we know that this hatch is open even if we flip right onto the camera, because you saw that little beam of light come into this room. Now we know that the hatch is open even if we didn't hear it open. And if I'm looking for this camera as the attacker, I'm not going to be able to see this camera at all. Like, it's just non-existent for me. So I'll be able to see someone drop from their shadow, hear them drop, and then be able to see their feet over here. If they're hiding behind this little monitors here, then we're gonna be able to see them, no problem. If they were to turn around, then they're gonna see this Valkyrie here. So the camera's 100% blocked. Joking, if I just go ahead and move over here and I get back on the camera here. then they're gonna be able to see this camera just a little bit though, not a whole bunch. So if they're over here and they're like trying to fight around and then they turn around, they're like, oh, there's been a camera looking at me the whole time. But usually if they're trying to fight over here, then they're gonna be backing up out of here instead and a little more worried about everything else. And like I've already demonstrated, if you wanna get this camera, you can go ahead and get this camera. And for our last and final camera, it's gonna be actually inside the initiation room itself. Now, usually people will plant behind here if they push in from this control room over here, and they'll get this plant behind there. If people are gonna be in that office area over there, then people will plant behind here to try and be a little bit more safe. So if you're worried about that, you can go ahead and put a camera on these shelves. Now, yeah, you can go ahead and toss the camera here and blah, 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 but you know, that's really obvious, come on. We're better than that, right? We're better than that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of that C4 trick that I've taught you in other videos. Toss it down. We're gonna bounce it off of that and land it right underneath the shelf here. It's gonna break that little doodad, but that's fine. That thing doesn't need to survive anyway. We don't want it. We don't like that kind of thing. And then this is gonna be able to see this planting location over here to the east. If they plant closer over to the west behind these boxes, we'll be able to hear them. So we can essentially cover both of the areas. We just won't be able to see if the attacker is ready to shoot somebody or if they aren't. So just keep that in mind. But if we're coming over here, actually, let me just come through the door real quick. If we come through the door and we're looking for this camera, then yeah, it's gonna be shining in our face because it's you know, that camera with the light on it. But if we take a couple steps forward, literally like 2 steps, that light goes to almost nothing. And then we take 1 more step forward and it's basically gone. And that light doesn't exist anymore. And if people are really worried about this, then they're gonna be coming in here, sprinting, going down, and then instantly starting to plant this bomb. This diffuser, because you plant the diffuser. And so they're gonna be coming in there and doing that, and they're not gonna be too keen-eyed on where this camera is and what's going on with this camera. And yeah, that's basically like the whole thing about that camera. If you wanted to come and get this camera, then you can go ahead and you can pick that camera up. And yeah, so that's all the 3 cameras. If you want to watch areas of other maps or this one, check out the playlist of my past cam videos linked on your screen right now. Don't forget to post your spots in the Discord. Until next time, stay different.